The following is a paid issue advertisement.
If the vote count is accurate, then how come the number of voters is different? And if it's not accurate, then why was it certified? We are suing Letitia James and the New York State Board of Elections for a conspiracy against fundamental rights. This is not about who won. It's not about what party. It's about the fact that they don't care about your rights. Paid for by RealAmerica.vote, a DBA of New York Citizens Audit Civic Fund, Incorporated.
Go to RealAmerica.vote.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
What is wrong with you, bitch? Fuck out of Let's go, mother. Come on, mother. Shuffle. Celebrate 9/11 also? Did you celebrate 9/11? Shuffle. Are you celebrating 78 years of bloodshed? 78. Are you celebrating 78 years of bloodshed? This is real video. 78 years of occupation. Are you celebrating this? Are you celebrating 78 years? You celebrating this?
Mamdani. But you like it. You agree. So you fuel this. You allow this. This is horrendous. It's in our city, for crying out loud. What the hell are we going to do right now? In Brooklyn last night, it happened. Jews being targeted for being Jews. Are you crazy? And you can't, it's totally illegal. You can't take over a street. You can't form, it's in the First Amendment, peaceably assemble. This is not peaceful. Now here you'll hear something. It's in the quietest section, I believe, of Midwood, and they're going by these Jewish families' homes, and they're yelling and screaming at them, and I can't believe it. Cut 15, please. Knocking on their doors, drums, Palestinian flags, anti-Israel, the sloganeering. How do you feel? How are they supposed to feel? Can you imagine a mob coming by your house, a mob that hates you because of your religion? What would you do? What can you do? What can we do? What the hell can we do? I hear there were like 3 arrests. 3 arrests. You had hundreds of people out there. That thing shouldn't have happened. You prevent it. You prevent them from taking over. That's what a civilized society does. You protect the streets. Also, you find out if it's going to happen, you find out ahead of time through intelligence, through monitoring. You can do that. It's totally constitutional. It's totally legal. Cops used to do it. They'd have Facebook accounts, right? See what the hell is going on. You got to organize this crap on Facebook. And you just keep an eye on Facebook. They're not doing that. The mayor wants this stuff to happen. The mayor wants this stuff to happen. And that ridiculous pretend police commissioner. Pretend. I put commissioner in quotes. I call her Jessica. Oh boy, I've got a cool job, Tish. She lets this happen? And she doesn't know how to stop it. I saw her go in front of some group and, you're lucky to have me. I'm Jewish. Well, that's not enough. You got to be Jewish and effective. And you got to be able to stand up to your boss and use the full power at your disposal, but you don't know how. You don't know how. It's just, I can't believe it. All that stuff, all that crap about Bubba Wallace and white supremacy and Charlottesville, and it was imaginary. It was manufactured when it wasn't imaginary, artificial, to get Joe Biden over the finish line and then try to keep him in power, to besmirch and tarnish MAGA, the most non-racist, anti-racist, if you will, in the best possible way, political movement in history. There ain't one person in MAGA that cares anything about who you are, where you come from, as long as you came here legally, support our ideals. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Born here, not born here. You got to just be American. Love America. The ethnicity, nothing to do with it. So here we are. Anti-Semitism flourishing in New York. What in the hell do we do by this? What the freaking hell do we do? All right, now a couple of people I know are on the case. I know that we have Harmeet Dillon at the Justice Department. Great. So we got the Trump administration looking into this. We have, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. As far as law enforcement, as far as people who can really do something about it, we've got that. And, you know, we got some of the biggest leaders in the state both turning a blind eye or, you know, just ignoring it, pretending it's not happening. Chuck Schumer, my God, you know, the number one, in many ways, Chuck Schumer, you could say, is the number one most prominent Jewish person in all of America. But you know what? He's scared of the radical left. He's scared of AOC. He won't make a stand. Let's just peruse his Twitter, shall we? You know, he's always grabbing that stupid podium and having those Sunday press conferences. And made his career by sticking up for the little guy. And you know what? You know what he's beefing about right now? What do you think? Of all the issues in the world, what's he most passionate about? What's he most outraged about? What is he applying his efforts, whatever the hell his efforts are? What do these guys do anyway, really, when you think about it? What do they do? Let's see here. He's upset about gas prices 2 minutes ago. 23 minutes ago, he is unwell and getting worse by the day. What does this mean? Oh. He doesn't like Trump. Trump had one of his worst mental health episodes last night, posting 55 times in 3 hours. Here is a list. I just lug it. That has nothing to do. You're still surprised at how President Trump tweets, Chuck? Haven't you gotten used to this? Let's see here. What else does he write about? Uncertainty, stress, dread. These are the words Americans use to describe the economy right now. Isn't the stock market at its highest ever? Each month, the war drags on. The pain increases for American families. A lot of Republicans, too, want to see this birded out. What the hell does that mean? Thune says bird bath for the reconciliation bill is starting this week. Oh, the Washington Mall? He's tweeting about everything other than the anti-Semitism that happened in his hometown, his home county, Brooklyn, also known as Kings County. Chuck came from there. What would his parents have to say? What would his parents think about Chuck? It's just, it's really something else. So I'm making some phone calls. I don't know what has to be done, but something dramatic must be done. Harmeet Dillon from this Justice Department, you know, she's the Deputy Attorney General for Human Rights, and that's a big deal because these are civil rights violations, and that makes it a federal case. And these are federal hate crimes that are occurring. And, you know, it's fascinating to me. I never, ever, ever hear about October 7th and what they did to those young women at that rave concert, right? Remember that? Imagine if Al-Qaeda came into our country and, I don't know, marauded through a Taylor Swift concert, stole girls and raped them. Now, I don't know where the nuclear bombs would have landed, but they would have landed somewhere. All right, we would have gone nuclear, literally, after that. So this thing is just, we pretend what? It's okay. It's just not a thing. Legacy media is totally ignoring it. I mean, totally. The New York Times, where the hell are you? This is a local story, everybody. This is it's a national story. It's an international story. Got friends in Israel who are talking about it. Why isn't it in the Metro section of the New York Times, for crying out loud? The Metro section? You think the anti-Semitism is alive and well at the New York Times? You bet your ass. I just can't believe it. And I just bought, for laughs, I'm going to read about Chuck Schumer's thoughts on anti-Semitism in America. Imagine if you had that platform. You know what he's got? He's got 15 communications directors, 20 press secretaries. He's got offices in Washington, New York City. One's right across the street. He's got 4 on Long Island. He's got 8 upstate. All right. He's got a massive, massive platform, and half of politics, quite frankly, is saying stuff. And he doesn't want to say stuff at this moment. Why do what you do? Hochul, I would have known. You know, Hochul, this doesn't surprise me so much from Hochul, goofball, but it's something else with Chuck, because I know that Chuck wasn't always like this. Chuck, no. There's a strain of normalcy in him, but I guess he just wants power that badly. And right now the power is with the hard left. Here's his book. I just opened it up. This is the very first page of his book. For not only one enemy has risen up against us to destroy us, but in every generation they rise up to destroy us. But the Holy One, blessed be He, delivers us from their hands. That's a translation from Vihi Shemata, a passage from the Haggadah, the sacred text of Passover. And then he has another quote, anti-Semitism is a light sleeper, from Connor Cruz O'Brien, Irish writer and diplomat. Wow. And then he writes as follows, I never thought I would write a book like this. For one thing, I never thought anti-Semitism would rise to the level that it has today in America. But also, like many Jewish Americans, despite, or maybe because of my public profile, I've always had mixed feelings about how strongly I should advertise or lean into my Jewish identity. For most of my career, I just tried to be myself. I told my colleagues, and especially fellow Democrat candidates, that in order to succeed in politics, they have to be who they truly are. Voters can smell inauthenticity the way bloodhounds track a scent. I have a maxim I tell any candidate for public office. I'm from Brooklyn. I say sometimes it hurts me, sometimes it helps me, but I know if I tried to be anything else, I would be worse than whatever I am. I've always understood implicitly that when I say Brooklyn, I also mean Jewish. Now, it's very interesting, actually, in ways I don't think he intended. I have always had mixed feelings about how strongly I should advertise or lean into my Jewish identity. He has always had mixed feelings. Always. Well, always to me means today, means right now. And this is not the time. This is not the time, Chuck. How can you? How can you desert those poor people in your neighborhood, literally in your neighborhood? It's very strange. It goes on here. But wasn't my job to represent our community in the United States? When I was younger, I felt no strong desire or need to speak out on behalf of Jewish Americans. Well, here we are again, Chuck. Here we are again. I might have worked on issues related to Jews in Israel, but people often thought of me as more outwardly Jewish than I actually was. Over my first decade in Congress, I represented Brooklyn, but in 1992, I was redistricted partially into Queens. When I was campaigning to meet the new voters in Queens on Austin Street in Forest Hills, a predominantly Jewish neighborhood, a lady wandered over to me. In typical Jewish fashion, she skipped the pleasantries. "You're Congressman Schumer," she declared. "I read in the Queens Tribune that you're my new congressman. I'm so glad. I've never met you in person, but I watch C-SPAN religiously, and I'd like to pay you a compliment. You have more courage than any other of the members of Congress." And I said, "Well, thank you, ma'am. You know, there are 435 of them. Some are no good nicks, I admit, but there are some very estimable people. Estimable. What makes you say that? Out of all 435, I have the most courage. Well, as I said, I watch C-SPAN, and when you rise to your feet, you speak on the floor of the House of Representatives. You're the only one who has the courage to wear a yarmulke. Thank you, ma'am, but it's obvious you've never met me." I bent my head down to show her the appetizer plate bald spot on my crown. It's not a yarmulke. Wow. Being Jewish brought meaning to my personal and political life, but it was an identity that could be worn lightly. No doubt people thought about me. So Chuck is having an identity crisis about this stuff. Chuck is not a warrior. Chuck is out to lunch. Chuck doesn't give a damn. Oh, Chuck doesn't want to be, he wants to be himself. And what himself is, apparently, is weak and afraid and conflicted about his Jewishness. How in the hell? How in the hell? And you write it out loud. You write it down. Nobody reads these books other than me. He's conflicted. He doesn't want to advertise his Jewishness. He doesn't want to get involved. The mob may come for him, and it already has. That mob came for him back a couple of times. One of the times was on October 8th. The very next day, Zoran Mamdani was outside his house yelling and screaming with the bullhorn. And instead of getting his Irish up, he can be a little bit Irish. What the hell happened to him? He got scared. And he looked at AOC. You know, AOC really disrupted a lot of things. AOC was on the cover of Time magazine, I think before she even got sworn in as a congressman. She beats that guy Crowley in a primary. 4,000 people vote for her. So what? But that's it. That's all it took. When did she come in? 2018. Poor schmuck Chuck Schumer's been in politics since 1974. And she comes along in 2018 and outshines him, outclasses him, has more power than it. He is afraid of her. That's got to do pretty nutty stuff to your brain. So I guess you didn't want to offend her by talking about all the, you don't want to advertise how Jewish you are, or this, that, and the other thing. And it's really something. It's real. I know deep down he's better than this, deep down. But then again, what difference does it make deep down, right? I don't have time to go deep down into Chuck Schumer. We only have time to evaluate what you're doing. And in this moment of crisis, he's on vacation. Be right back.
77 WABC and Bergen Newbridge Medical Center honor the life of legendary broadcaster and our friend, Ernie Anastas.
Hi, it's Ernie Anastas. Your thoughts can affect how you feel. Bergen Newbridge Medical Center is the largest hospital in New Jersey, providing comprehensive, equitable, compassionate, and high-quality emergency inpatient and outpatient medical care, plus mental health services and substance use disorder treatment. The Bergen Newbridge team can address your total health needs in one convenient location. Call 201-225-7130 for an appointment or newbridgehealth.org.